We broke up to unmade.
This is not good.
You broke back.
I said the items. That's the thing about
Of the library to order, 4 o'clock. Ms. Leslie, introduce the person to your left.
This is Dana Herman, and she's here to do the invocation and pledge.
Okay.
Ms. Bow for word of prayer, please.
Let's bow for prayer, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to come before you at this meeting. We commit this day to you, and in this meeting before we start, thank you for your presence today. Thank you that we get to live in such a wonderful community. Thank you for all of our blessings. Thank you for your watch care over us through this last snowstorm. And I just pray that every word spoken here today that would be spoken respectfully and done in a right manner. And we just thank you for your presence today. Amen. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on our agenda is the consent agenda, but we'll introduce our newest member instead, Sage Bear. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the library board. Okay, yes.
I need to make that announcement.
Oh, yes.
Once again, I have to leave by probably 5:15 for a camp meeting, so I don't mean to walk out again, but hopefully since it's the end of school, this is the last one. So if we're not done, that's all I'm doing.
Okay, consent agenda. This item includes housekeeping matters that are usually approved all at once. We have the minutes from March 30th, financial reports from March, voucher register April 25th, and expenditure report for March. Carrie, do you want to take us through these and tell us what they are?
Certainly. So our minutes from the last meeting and our financial report as of March 31st, 2022. We are 3/4 of the way through the year. Normally we'd be at about 25% of our budget left, but we have done some cut to some staffing positions, little bits that we had promised the commissioners that we would do, so we're a little bit ahead of that, and you'll see that more on the budget report. The next one is our voucher register. This is all of our items that were paid since our last meeting. And then the final report is our budget spent to date, and that's where you really notice the 25% is just a little bit higher.
Are there any questions from any of the members of the board? We've received copies of all these documents through email, so we should be all ready to go. Hearing no questions, I'd like a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those to approve the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, consent agenda is approved. That takes us to unfinished business, and we have Clark Milicevic. That's terrible. I ruined your name again. I apologize.
No, that sounds good. Hello.
Press and hold.
Hello. Okay, yeah. So last time, Mr. Chairman and board members, that I was here, I talked about the roof project, and it was out to bid last time I was here and to talk to you. And we did receive bids, March 9th, I believe, is when we took those bids. We ended up getting 2 bids on that project. One was from Lowe Roofing of Gillette, and the other one was from Dave Loden Construction of Buffalo. And so the low bid was Lowe Roofing at $327,000, and then Dave Loden was around $550,000. So we did get a really good price. Part of this was that the contractor had a lot of materials on hand. It didn't need to be ordered. There is, of course, materials are hard to get, lead times are difficult, but this contractor's doing a lot of work and had a lot of the materials available, so we kind of got the old pricing on a lot of the materials that we'll be using, and so we're happy with that price. I took that to the commissioners last week, I believe. They approved the contract, and so we have Lowe Roofing under contract, as well as, I'm not sure whether I let you know that we're going to be replacing some HVAC units on the roof at the same time as the roofing's going on. That's going to be Powder River Heating and Air Conditioning. So we've got them under contract to replace 2 condensing units that are up pretty much right above where we're sitting right now. So we've got those 2 contractors under contract. The materials have been ordered. The project is set to happen in October or so. So by then, the HVAC units and the materials will be here. That project will happen. So we've got that in the upcoming carryover budget for the county to be able to fund this. So that's kind of where we sit. I can answer any questions if you guys have any.
Any questions? I guess not. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. We're under unfinished business, and this brings us to library use COVID impact.
I provided some statistics to just kind of show that people are starting to come back to the library. See, it's a little up and down, but steadily increasing in the long run. And so it'll be really interesting to see where we are a year from now. But some of our circulations are getting a lot closer to where they were in 2019, 2020, and I started to include 2018 numbers because surprisingly, we started getting into some COVID impacts from 2019, 2020 too. So wanting to have a true picture of if we're getting closer to where we were pre-COVID. So those numbers starting in March are actually from a year earlier, which was pre-COVID. We closed the library, although we continue to offer library services, we did close the library to the public for a couple of weeks in March and April and May. So it is starting. It's hard for me to believe that we've already had that much time go by. Circulation looks pretty good. We have had an increase in electronic circulation, and so I think that's why that is improving faster than patrons entering the library. People are still using the library, but maybe more remotely.
Okay.
questions from members of the board? Okay, that brings us to the, sorry.
The reconsideration of library materials progress report.
There has been no activity since the March board meeting. For Sage's benefit, I thought I could review briefly where it started and where we are today. So I'll just go over a quick report. We talked about this a little bit, but it's kind of interesting to see it in a timeline. So, yeah. In July 7th, 2021, I was unexpectedly called into the county commissioners meeting, and a large group there spoke during the public comment session, reading excerpts from books that they found offensive. I made a statement reviewing the library's mission to provide diverse cultural opportunities for reading, learning, and entertainment to everyone in our community, and explained that we had a process for challenging books. Kind of intermixed in all of this were some problems with a magician program. I had received a report that this was a transgender act, and I investigated and learned that the program was not a transgender act. It was vetted, the magician was in high demand and had a good track record and no history of inappropriate content. I had also learned that a local pastor had posted that there was a transgender magic show at the library. So those things happened then, and it got kind of intense. It is true that the magician was a transgender person, but nobody really knew that, and the show itself was not intended to be anything but a magic show. An unnamed informant circulated a chat transcript that showed that the planning that came before the July 7th commissioners meeting, it included discussion about the magician. Later I learned of a protest plan for the same date of the magician show, and it was being organized by the group who spoke at the commissioners meeting. July 11th through the 13th was a time of increasing tension, social media posts, etc. I contacted the police department to make security arrangements for the magician program. Staff received a threat to cancel the program or else from an unknown person. The magician also received threats and canceled the program. I did report these threats to the police, and there has been skepticism about these threats, which were communicated via social media, etc. On July 14th, although the program had canceled, the protest did not, and there were protesters outside of the library with posters stating, "Don't trans our kids," or "Your library's okay with LGBTQ," and other similar types of posters. At July 20th, the group again spoke against the book at the county commissioners meeting. At the July 26th board meeting, we reviewed the collection development policy so that the people that were unhappy with these books would understand that they had a process for bringing the books to our attention and for challenging the book's location in the library. So the group who had been speaking at commissioners meetings also had a public comment session time here with a lot of heated comments for the library board. On August 12th, the commissioners and the library board held a special meeting, and we reviewed the reconsideration process again. And then we did start to receive some requests for reconsideration forms at that time. And on September 27th meeting, we had a joint meeting with the county commissioners where we were able to provide an update about the challenges. We were trying to work with the commissioners through all of this since it started out in the commissioners' chambers, the complaints. So from August 18th, where we had received about 15 challenge forms from 7 people with 6 unique titles, our staff began work reading and reviewing the books. By September 27th, we'd received 35 forms, and 16 responses were sent by staff. We were up to 14 unique people challenging and 18 unique titles. On October 25th, we were up to 52. And We also had an appeal to the library board at that meeting. In November, 56 challenges from 17 unique people, 28 unique titles, 3 more challenges to the library board. December, 57 challenges received, same 17 people, 29 unique titles at that point. And in December, the staff had responded to all of the challenge forms to date. We had another appeal to the library board in December. In January, we had 3 more appeals and 2 in February. During this process, to assist patrons in achieving a civil public comment session, the library board adopted a public comment protocol. And in January, sensing that there was some confusion for the public about how the appeal process works, we wanted to do a better job and get clearer communication on how it should work. So we adopted a reconsideration of library materials guide to better let the public know how the process worked. We also worked on a marketing campaign. We started, to help parents understand how they can link their cards to their kids' cards. And so our marketing campaign has had some pretty successful results that I'm looking over here. On the bookmarks, there are QR codes that people can use to click to the instructions for linking cards. So there's been 9 clicks there. And then on Facebook, there was a link to the instructions for how to link the cards. And we had 863 clicks to the instructions. So I thought that was pretty powerful.
Okay.
Just one last thing. I'll get to that later.
No, finish.
Well, during that time, the parenting committee was meeting for a couple of months in December-January timeframe, and reviewing whether to create a parenting collection for teens in the adult nonfiction department. And the committee, by majority, not everybody was in agreement, decided that that collection is not needed.
Okay. Any questions about where we're at with reconsideration? We'll have a little more on that coming up.
And the next item is on the budget request. I remember at the last meeting, I believe we approved a tentative budget on the basis that the final budget not vary more than, I don't remember what percent, 5%?
1/4%.
1/4%.
I was pretty sure I was close.
Yeah, you seem confident. So where are we?
So we were slightly less, but less than 1/4% different. And so our final budget number is, for the operating budget, is $3,841,052. And then if you add the 1% optional sales tax of $141,750, which is kind of a new way the county has us present the budget, it puts us at $3,882,202. In comparing to last year, our total budget was $36,30,767, and that was after deep cuts. In fiscal year 2021, we were at $3,796,884, so very close to our budget from 2 years ago. And 10 years ago, our budget was a little over $4 million, so we've come down a ways since then.
Had the 1% just been included in income for purposes of the budget, or what's the difference?
It was just requested on a separate form that they were calling a capital form because of the amount of money spent on the specific thing, but it's more of an operating cost when it's books and programs.
Are there any questions?
Alrighty. business.
Have you already talked about the parenting question?
I have just a little bit more.
Okay.
So we have been doing an early literacy survey, and on that survey, we include a question asking parents if they would like to keep the parenting collection in the children's department or have it moved to the adult nonfiction section. Early and preliminary results look like people did prefer that it be in the children's department. But that said, we hope to achieve a win-win solution, and in working with Mandy on the parenting committee, this is where the idea started, but we plan to move the books from their current collection to an area within the children's department where the shelves can be monitored by staff, but also where books can be placed on a higher shelf. So hopefully that will be a good solution for the parenting collection.
Okay. And
The next item is policy review and rulemaking. As Terry mentioned, and as I'm sure many of you remember, we've passed some changes to the procedure for appeals as well as the public comment protocol. We're also in kind of an awkward position right now that we don't have any legal counsel. By law, the Campbell County Attorney is legal counsel to the library board, and at this moment, the attorney we've been working with is no longer employed by the Campbell County Attorney's Office. So I'm not sure quite what we expect them to do, but at this moment, I have some questions about legal questions of no interest to anyone, I'm sure. We're an administrative agency governed by the Administrative Procedures Act, which is in Title 16 of the Wyoming statutes. And if you're having trouble getting to sleep, start in on that chapter. There's a lot of interesting stuff. That's also where public records and public meetings law is located, which has been in the news a lot lately. So I have some questions for them on whether the rules and regulations that we pass could be considered formal rulemaking, as that term is defined under that act. I kind of hope it isn't. I don't think it is, but I'd like to get their opinion on that. What I would see us doing is reviewing the decisions we've already made, see if we think we need to make any more changes, and then publish a notice and ask for written public comments to see how well we're doing and whether we need to make any changes. So that in a nutshell is where we're at with that. And I don't know, I haven't heard anything about, well, I have heard some things, but I haven't heard anything positive about what progress the county attorney's office is making. There, as I understand it, down 2 prosecutors. I don't think your husband wants to become a civil attorney.
No, a little bit of a conflict.
Yeah, just a little bit. We have an excellent county attorney's office. A lot of their business, of course, is criminal prosecution. And we had been lucky enough for decades to have Carol Seeger provide that kind of advice to the county. She became the administrator, and then she's left. So I think since I've been on the library board, we've had 4 attorneys from the county attorney's office? 5? What do you think? So that's where that's at. I would like to go ahead and run an ad and ask for input, but I want to be sure that the county attorney thinks this is the right way to proceed. So, not much to say there, I suppose. And we have Maybe we can put copies of, maybe we've done this. Have we put copies of the changes we've made on our website for people to look at?
Yes,
I know we passed them out at some meetings.
Yeah, anything new is posted. I'm working on a project to have a one-stop shopping policy page where all of our policies are published, where everybody can see them. And as we work on policy review, we are probably going to look at some other policies beyond the collection development policy too.
Great. Okay, that brings us to the director's report.
All right, well, we've been attending some different trainings, workplace investigations. We have some fire extinguisher training coming up for Wright and CCPL staff. There is a children's section training session in Buffalo, May 5th and 6th, and 9 staff members will attend that. Regarding some services and products, there's some kind of some exciting things. Our genealogy drop-in classes have started, and it's kind of nice one-on-one help with any genealogy projects that people are working on. We have a new partnership with Equal Justice. It's a program of the Wyoming Judicial Branch, and it offers free legal assistance, excluding criminal, monthly at the Campbell County Public Library. We've started some video lab training. We had a nice write-up in the newspaper about it. I had a class, had some good attendance. We honored Bob Barlow, the Library Foundation did, at an art reception. He's been a big fan of promoting public art, and he has curated the art collection that we have today. And so it was really nice to have a good crowd there to appreciate him for all the work he's done over these years. We have some tech classes in finding reliable, trustworthy health information. We partnered with Vision 2040 to assist getting community feedback. We're bringing a Medicare 101 program again. There's been a lot of people interested in how to sign up for Medicare, so this helps people navigate through that. Wrights have a spring clean swap for recyclables and unwanted items, giving a chance for exchange. And we've been doing some school tours to promote youth services and summer reading. So our fob installation project is still pending. We are replacing a malfunctioning drinking fountain with a water bottle fountain, thanks to the Friends of the Library helping with that. Our painting project is still pending. Had a fire alarm go off yesterday, and there was a faulty piece of equipment that caused it, no fire. At Rye Branch, unfortunately, I got some pictures this morning of some water leaking into the basement again. So it's not bad, but it's back. So through the drought, we were dry. All that snow changed things. We also had such high winds that one of our wind sculptures was damaged recently. All computers are updated to Windows 10. And we're still slogging along with Tyler. Still, go live date is still July 1. Our Cersei Pay installation should be rolled out any day. It may even be up now. There was a little glitch on the initial installation, but it's an opportunity for patrons to pay their bills online. And we are getting ready to purchase an interactive online public meeting room calendar that also allows patrons to enroll in classes. Done a variety of safety training there for your perusal. And we are gearing up for compensation package coming up. We're recruiting for 3 positions. All 3 of these positions are at reduced hours in our efforts to reduce our FTE. So circulation services is a 35-hour position, youth services 25, and branch services is 10. We have a retirement coming up from a long-term manager, 42 years. Hard to believe. Moving on, there's a list of different programs that we have going on and the things that we've done recently. And a lot of these things were covered in my prior report. Again, Overdrive is looking strong with 6,652 circulations in March. Canopy has also been strong for videos. Our next foundation meeting will be in May. We are working hard to establish the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. This project was brought to us by a couple of citizens who needed a 501c3 to help them, so the foundation is helping. It's an exciting project. We're happy to help. We are the fiscal sponsor for this project. This will allow